A very sickly and deeply unwell-looking Donald Trump just wrapped up a public event that he had at dinner at Windsor Palace. You can just see him in the carriage right there. Look at his face. Look how sickly he looks as he's in his golden carriage being brought to Windsor Palace. Take a look at him with the royal family right here, the first pic of Trump. Also with the Prime Minister from the state visit that was just posted as well. Can we zoom in on Donald Trump's hand? Right there, yeah, that's looking really, really bad, folks. As I've described it before, it really looks like his hand was just dipped into a piranha tank at this point. It is rotting and decomposing before our eyes. I mean, it looks very, very serious. And he looked very sickly and weak as he was at this dinner doing this public speech there over at Windsor Palace, where lots of protests taking place in Windsor. Huge protests also taking place in London. I'll show you those in a bit, but he really struggled to read his speech right here. And during the speech, he pretended that he was like the first United States president to ever visit like the United Kingdom, as though like no one else had ever been to Windsor Palace before. I am the first person to ever be here. Here, play this clip.
Kate, thank you so much. It's been so great being with you today. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's a singular privilege to be the first American president welcomed here. And if you think about it, it's a lot of presidents, and this was the second state visit, and that's the first, and maybe that's going to be the last time. I hope it is, actually. But this is truly one of the highest honors of my life. Such respect for you and such respect for your country.
And then he starts to mention shaking people's hands. Well, after seeing your hand, Donald, I don't really know if that was the right idea. Donald Trump says, I will tell you, I stood in line and shook about 150 hands. That's not the reason why your hand looks the way it looks rotting. And Donald Trump says, the king knew everybody's name. Well, that's kind of what you do with people you know. You kind of remember their names. I know that's a difficult concept for you as you call the Prime Minister of Japan Mr. Japan, or the CEO of Toyota or Honda or whatever. You just call them the company name. But people sometimes learn other people's names. Donald, here, play this clip.
He has uplifted the poor, cared for rural farmers, and tended to wounded veterans like nobody else. I'll tell you that I just stood in line and shook about 150 hands. And the king knew every single person and every single company, and some of them had bad names like XYZ-Q3, and he knew every one of them, or at least I think he did, because nobody was complaining. I was very impressed.
Then Donald Trump goes on this rant. Just look at this room, by the way, too, though. It's such a bad look, not just for the United States, it's a bad look for the UK as well. There are so many people who can't afford groceries right now. There are so many people who are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck right now, being psychologically tortured. There are so many people who can't afford homes, who are struggling to just keep their health care, to stay alive. And they're at this like golden palace in golden carriages. Look at this room right here. And then Trump's like, we're the hottest country right now. No, we're not. We're not. We're not the hottest country. Like, America's at its weakest right now than it's ever been in its history. But anyway, play this clip.
Beautiful on its own, but really meant to be played together. The bond of kinship and identity between America and the United Kingdom is priceless and eternal. It's irreplaceable and unbreakable. And we are, as a country, as you know, doing unbelievably well. We had a very sick country 1 year ago, and today, I believe we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. In fact, nobody's even questioning it, but we owe so much of that to you and the footing that you gave us when we started. Together, we've done more good for humanity than any two countries at all.
Then Donald Trump talks about how we must defend the exceptional heritage that makes us who we are, and we need to focus on the English-speaking world. Okay, well then, why, if you believe that, Donald, then why are you basically letting Putin do whatever the hell he wants? Here, play this clip.
Together, we've done more good for humanity than any two countries in all of history. Together, we must defend the exceptional heritage that makes us who we are, and we must continue to stand for the values and the people of the English-speaking world, and we do indeed stand for that. On behalf of all Americans, I offer a toast to one of the great friendships, to two great countries, and to His Majesty, King Charles III, a very, very special man, and also a very, very special queen. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And then Donald Trump just starts listing names of authors. And by the way, you can see like Melania there. Very bizarre scene. Play this clip.
Like you have. A fifth of all of humanity speaks, writes, thinks, and prays in the language born on these isles and perfected in the pages of Shakespeare and Dickens and Tolkien, and Lewis, Orwell, and Kipling. Incredible people, unbelievable people like we have rarely seen before, probably won't see again.
What's going on in Parliament Square, London? Take a look at what's happening there. You've got protesters tossing J.D. Vance balls around there. Just play this clip here, the London protest. Let's play it.
This is not how I envisaged this going. I mean, it's constantly. Try and keep it away from the cameras, people. Send it backwards. There we go. Let's pop that down there. But we don't want it. We don't want J.D. Vance. That's right. That's absolutely correct. Listen, we have incredible.
We'll put the sound up here. This is part of the Trump Not Welcome protest march. Hat tip to Rhythms of Resistance, who's handling the drumming. You got some mini angry baby Trump balloons over there as well. Take a look right here. Take a look at some of these lookalikes in the protests. You have Trump, you've got Vance, you've got Nigel Farage, you've got Putin, you've got Elon Musk as part of Stop the Trump protest in London. Let's play it.
Let's have a look.
It's another scene. You'll see the crowds have gathered in central London to protest Trump. Let's play it. Well, here's how they were referring to the Stop the Trump coalition on Sky News. Good reporting there. Let's play it.
Well, they're loud, they're proud, and they're certainly trying to drown out all of the pageantry that's happening at Windsor, Mark. But I'm not sure if they're doing a good job at it or not, really. I mean, a lot of the people here have not been watching those gorgeous opulent pictures from Windsor. Instead, they have been focused very much on making their voices of opposition heard. I mean, it's a real mixture in the crowd today. We've seen people carrying Ukrainian flags, people with Palestinian flags, people that have got banners that cite that, that infamous relationship between the predator Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, an image that he, of course, would rather not be showcased today. But frankly, whilst all eyes have been on Windsor, it's been very hard, in a sense, to ignore the voices of the people here today. The crowd, you're right, estimated to be thought about 5,000 in size. It's thought the last time that there was a state visit for Donald Trump in 2019, where the crowds packed out Trafalgar Square, where we saw that giant blimp of Donald Trump lifted above the crowd. It's thought the crowd, the numbers there were nearing 100,000. So perhaps organisers might be a little disappointed in the numbers that have turned out. However, there is currently behind me in Parliament Square a huge rally with speakers on stage, voicing their thoughts regarding this visit. They've talked to me about how they feel as though the flattery is farcical, how the pomp and the pageantry should have been saved for someone that deserves it. Some of those people voicing their idea of saying they feel sick at the sight of, King Charles and the Queen next to Donald Trump, and the visit and the rolling out of the red carpet is not sitting well with some, in direct contrast, as Mark Stone said there, to the pro-Trump supporters that you've seen down in Windsor. There have been pockets of support for him because there are a huge number of people who do want him here. More than 40% of people during an attitude survey of Donald Trump's visit over the weekend do actually want this state visit to go ahead.
King Charles give his portion of the speech, and he talked about golf and how in the UK, British soil is very good for golf. Let's play it.
Mr. President, you have spoken of your pride in your British roots. In fact, not only have you set foot on British soil twice in the last 2 months alone, but I understand that British soil makes for rather splendid golf courses.
You have King Charles mentioning the ties between the United States and the UK were so strong that the media once wanted him to be married off to a Nixon. Here, play this clip.
at over 20 visits since that time, I have cherished the close ties between the British and American peoples. In fact, had the media succeeded in the 1970s in their own attempt at deepening the special relationship, I myself might have been married off within the Nixon family.
And by the way, while all of that was going on in the House of Representatives, you had Kash Patel claiming that he didn't know if Trump was mentioned in the Epstein files 1 time, 1,000 times, or 10,000 times. Oh, that was a disastrous hearing with Kash Patel, Trump's FBI director. But then you had Republicans moving to block a motion by a Democratic congresswoman to subpoena suspicious activity reports related to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. They don't even let her finish reading the motion before they attempt to block it. Play this clip.
Gentleman, take the motion.
Okay. Pursuant to Clause 2K6 of Rule 11, I move that the committee subpoena U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent to produce or otherwise make available to the committee all suspicious activity reports in the possession of the Treasury Department, identifying the roughly $1.5 billion in suspicious transactions.
California is recognized.
I move to lay the motion on the table.
The motion is not debatable.
I didn't finish.
She hadn't completed the motion. Is it proper to cut it off before it's completed, Mr. Chairman?
Finish your last sentence there. The gentlelady can finish.
Okay, so we're asking them to identify the roughly $1.5 billion in suspicious transactions related to the sex trafficking crimes of Epstein, Maxwell, and their co-conspirators. And as we know, Mr. Patel said that the Treasury might have that
Move to lay the motion
information.
on the table.
Yep. The motion is not debatable. The question occurs on the motion to table. Those in favor say aye.
Donald Trump is riding around in a golden carriage. Right now in the United States, the latest YouGov Economist poll shows that only 20% of adults in the United States think that the economy is actually getting better. Take a look right here. In contrast, this was Donald Trump in that carriage, enjoying his golden carriage ride at Windsor Castle. This is what UK taxpayers and American taxpayers are paying for. Let's play it.
In any event, the main objective is pageantry. Apparently, the president told the pool press who were flying with him overnight yesterday, enjoy yourselves, okay? He said he was really, really, really looking forward to this. He said it's going to be a beautiful event. Now you can hear the British national anthem playing as the carriages continue to move towards eventually Windsor Castle. And then they're going to have a lunch, and then there's going to be more pageantry. The president and the first lady will lay a wreath on the tomb of Queen Elizabeth II, who the president really, really appreciated. He met her twice here, one an official state visit, which was at Buckingham Palace, and then a later visit here to Windsor Castle. This is the first time there's been this kind of major state visit for an American president at Windsor Castle. Usually they're in London at Buckingham Palace and, they go up the mall. But certainly Windsor Village has been decked out with the Stars and Stripes and the Union Jack. And so as much pageantry as they can muster without the usual people involved is happening right now.
And here he is, by the way, breaking etiquette also by walking in front of King Charles. But here Donald Trump is inspecting the guard of honor with King Charles. Let's play it. Show you what the people of London, people in the UK in general, really think about Donald Trump. We're allowing a convicted felon onto British soil. It's a total disgrace. I concur. It's a disgrace that he's in the United States. Let's play the clip.
I don't want to be here. I feel like I have to be here because Keir Starmer's made a massive mistake in letting a convicted felon, they actually convicted him in his country, and we're letting him come on British soil. And it's a total disgrace. It's disgusting.
I think it's an absolute waste of taxpayer money. Already millions of pounds were spent to keep him safe last time. And it's really just for show. I mean, this is just because he's a Royals watcher and they're just going to, his wife's going to go see the doll museum and the Scouts.
I mean, there's a lot of emphasis, of course, that the state visit is going to bring about a trade deal.
I think it's really unclear exactly what our politicians and our monarchy intend to do with this visit, if there's some diplomatic ideas behind it, but I don't think it's sending a great message.
he changes his mind as often as he changes his diaper, as far as I can see. He could say what a wonderful visit he's had, and then 2 minutes later, he's going to say something else. Neville Chamberlain tried to appease Hitler, and history showed how that worked out. Appeasement is not the answer. There will not be peace in our time while Trump is the president of America.
And then finally, we've learned that following Donald Trump's trip, the Times is reporting that the United Kingdom will recognize the Palestinian state following the end of Trump's state visit. Not because of Trump, but just because. That's the right thing to do, recognize the Palestinian state. It's the right thing to do. And obviously, Donald Trump didn't want that happening. There you have it. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe.